The author Lucy Maud Montgomery, who is best known for writing the Anne of Green Gables series but wrote many other books, poems, and essays as well, was born in this home in New London, Prince Edward Island, Canada, on November 30th, 1874, into a family of strict Scotch Presbyterians. These are her parents, Hugh and Clara. And this is Lucy Maud. Now she went by Maud, not Lucy, and emphasized that her name did not have an E at the end, unlike Anne Shirley, who wanted everyone to know that her name was spelled with an E. It was a little thing that Maud did to make herself different from Anne, which makes sense because the more you get to know Maud, reading her journals and letters and hearing about her life, the more you know that the two of them are so very similar. Well, before Maud was 2, her 23-year-old mother died of tuberculosis, and her father traveled often, and then he moved away. She was left in the care of her mother's strict, serious, duty-bound parents, Alexander and Lucy McNeil. Do you notice similarities between these pictures and the way Matthew and Marilla are described in Anne of Green Gables? They were older when Maud, who was a spirited young girl, came to live with them, which can't have been easy on them, and it's said that life was lonely for her. According to her biographers, she created imaginary friends and worlds to cope with her loneliness, friends named Katie Maurice and Lucy Gray. They lived in the fairy room behind the bookcase in the drawing room. In fact, there were lots of bookcases in her grandparents' home and lots of scope for imagination as well. Lucy and Alexander cared deeply about their Scottish traditions of telling stories and had a large library filled with history, poetry, and novels that kept young Maud company and inspired her to become a writer. She began writing poetry and keeping journals when she was 9 and started writing short stories in her mid-teens. At age 13, Maud wrote in her diary that she had early dreams of future fame. She tried to get a poem published, anticipating the wonder of her schoolmates, seeing herself becoming a little local celebrity. But her poem was rejected, and Maud later wrote that she cried in disappointment and crept away to hide the poor crumpled manuscript in the depths of a trunk. But she wrote that deep down, under all the discouragement and rebuff, she knew she would arrive someday. And of course she did. This is the house that she and her grandparents and her aunt lived in together, and Maud always cherished the time she spent there during her childhood. She called this Cavendish Homestead hallowed ground and wrote Anne of Green Gables and other works right there in the kitchen. You can go visit this home today, along with this one. Does it look familiar to you? It was located, and still is, along a path through this, what Maud called haunted wood, and it belonged to her grandfather's cousin. And as you might guess, it was the inspiration for Matthew and Marilla's home, Green Gables. This picture was taken during that period of time, and the extra measures of lace and doilies really do seem like they would have pleased Anne immensely, as they must have pleased Maud. Here's Maud at age 6 getting ready to attend school. And then we have a picture of her at age 17 with very puffy sleeves, you might note. Maud was very bright and determined to learn and graduated with honors, and then she went on to get her teaching license from Prince of Wales College in 2 years instead of 3. She taught at 3 different schools there on Prince Edward Island, all along continuing to write. When her grandfather died, she quit teaching to help her grandmother at home and continued earning a living by writing magazine stories. One day she came across an old entry in her writer's notebook. It was a story idea she had written down for herself that read, "Elderly couple apply to orphan asylum for a boy. By mistake, a girl is sent to them." While inspired by her own idea, she began to write this as a short story, which then became a longer book, with more of her own life's experiences mixed into it. And in 1905, it was completed. This is a picture of that first manuscript, written in her own hand. But believe it or not, this wonderful book was rejected by the first several publishers to whom she submitted it. So she put it away in a hat box and didn't look at it again for a couple of years. But then she got it out again and gave it a read and thought, that's not half bad. So she made a few changes to it, and then she tried once more to have it published, and it was. It was accepted, printed, and in 1908, Anne of Green Gables was an immediate success. During the whole time she was writing her first book, she was also falling in love with this man, Ewan MacDonald, who was to become a Presbyterian minister. Maud and Ewan went on to have 3 sons, 2 of whom survived to adulthood, named Stuart and Chester. L.M. Montgomery once talked about all the similarities between herself and her fictional creation of Anne, saying, "When I'm asked if Anne herself is a real person, I always answer no, with an odd reluctance and an uncomfortable feeling that I'm not telling the truth." Because there was obviously a lot of Maud in Anne, and probably a lot of Anne in Maud as well. Besides both having great imaginations and appreciation of beauty and nature, they were both also strong, determined characters. Maud successfully battled both the Spanish flu and an unscrupulous publisher who tried to cheat her out of her earnings. And in 1935, she was even honored by King George V as an officer of the Order of the British Empire. She became the first Canadian woman to be made a member of the British Royal Society of Arts. She's been named one of the 12 greatest women in Canada by the Toronto Star. And in 1943, she was named a person of national historic significance by the Canadian government. By the end of her life, in 1942, L.M. Montgomery had 20 novels, 530 short stories, 500 poems, and 30 essays to her name. But Anne of Green Gables is Maud's magnum opus, her best loved, best-selling work, and we're so glad she had the imagination to invent Anne. What a gift she's given us. As Anne's teacher, Miss Stacy, says, story writing exercises your imagination, and to that, we would add, it also results in wonderful gifts to leave the world. Thank you, L.M. Montgomery, for leaving Anne's story and so many others for us. This author biography is brought to you by LitWits, helping teachers and home educators bring great books to life for kids since 2010. For fun, free, creative teaching ideas, plus printables, videos, and online workshops and classes, visit our website at www.litwits.com.